Hey.
Hi. Welcome back to another session at Solana, Miami. My name is Tiff. I manage marketing at Magic Eden. And you are?
My name is Mati, and I'm a co-founder for Otaku Origins.
Mati. All right, and you actually live around here, right?
Miami born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I've been here a long time.
How does it feel to see all this stuff happening in your hometown?
It's amazing, right? Like you see New York is like the hub for finance, and you have Silicon Valley, the hub for like tech, and now Miami is like the hub for blockchain. So it's been an awesome ride.
Nice. Well, I would love to learn a little bit more about you and your journey.
Absolutely.
And your project, Otaku Origins.
Nice.
So maybe we just start with you. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I am a software engineer, so very appropriate for the NFT space. I worked in and out of incubators for a long time. Worked out as a lead dev in an incubator, literally here like 5 minutes away in Wynwood, producing startups essentially. So my background is very much in startup development and growth. And then my co-founder Augusto has a background in marketing, has a master's in computer science. So we're both pretty technical, kind of going into the NFT space with the mentality of how can we build a business. And so yeah, we built out Otaku Origins with the mentality of how can we build a business within the NFT space.
Okay, cool.
With the mentality of a startup.
But how did you even find NFTs to start with?
So I got into NFTs back in October of 2019 with Top Shot. Right, so NFT Top Shot was kind of my entrance into the NFT world.
For so many people.
Yeah, huge basketball fan, huge sports fan overall, and you know I grew up collecting Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and all this stuff. So the collectible aspect of it, I got pretty immediately, and then kind of went head in 100% into the NFTs, got really into it, and basically from there I was hooked. Moved from ETH to Solana, and then haven't looked back. Basically trying to go into the NFT space, Web3 really hard, and that's kind of where I see my future.
Tell me about your project.
Yeah, so we are Otaku Origins. Yep. We are an anime-based project based off Solana, obviously here, Solana hackers. We're trying to build out what is a shared Web3 comic book universe, right? So what we're trying to do is basically create a collaborative space, a literary metaverse where any project can create their own professional-grade comic book through us, through our launchpad, through our publishing house, essentially, and try to merge a little bit what is basically a collaboration into a longer period of time. Right, so what we saw in the space a lot was basically these one-off collaborations, these one-off partnerships, where it would be either like a marketing push or a giveaway or something, and then kind of die down. And so what we try to produce is a way for projects to work together in a longer series of time, longer time period, through something, a medium that we're really into. So I grew up collecting comic books. I used to grew up collecting comic books. And basically the idea was we wanted to create something that we were interested in, something that we were passionate about in the Web3 universe.
Got it.
Right, so it kind of started where I was minting a lot of Solana projects early on, and a lot of them were promising comic books. I won't actually name names, but a lot of them didn't actually produce what they said they were going to produce. And so from there, it was kind of a disappointment of like, okay, I want to really see my characters, my representation in the comic book series. And that's kind of where this came out from, is how can we do better than what exists out there? How can we create a shared universe where, we're not just creating comics for ourselves and for our users, but creating a more collaborative kind of bigger community to enjoy comic books across projects.
Absolutely. And so as a holder of your project, what does the holder receive? Right,
so it's several different utilities. So our main focus right now is getting this comic book launchpad off the ground. So Otaku holders will have access to all of our comics forever. Basically, the way we're doing it right now is we produce comic books for other projects, produce comic books within our ecosystem, within our what we're calling the Otakuverse. And so per project, it kind of depends on the amount of access that the project wants itself. But essentially, they are restricted access per project. So Otakus will get access to all comics forever in our platform. And then additionally, what we are actually building is essentially publishing house for emerging indie authors and comic book creators. So essentially what we're trying to do is fund these emerging authors to create comic books within our ecosystem, within our brand, and as a member, as a holder of Otaku, you will get a percentage of the revenue generated from each of these stories that are being created.
Oh, cool. So it's kind of like a publishing house.
Exactly. So
decentralized.
Exactly. Well, we did a lot of research in the comic book space, and like a lot of creator industries, like the art industry, the music industry, right? All these different things, the creators themselves are getting a very small percentage of what their work is producing, right? So typically, what you see in the comic book industry specifically is, these people creating these amazing stories, some of the biggest franchises in history, and essentially getting a very small percentage of revenue from the distribution of that comic. So we're trying to kind of flip that model on its head, where we will take a very small percentage, give basically what is an out-of-the-box offering for these authors, with publishing, marketing, promotion, basically comic book teams. We would give them advice and kind of a distribution model, a community to kind of create for, and give them the majority of the profits from what we generate from those comic stories. And so for our users, kind of the tagline is you become kind of a comic book producer, where you're choosing which artists you want to fund, which comic books you want to create, and then getting a small percentage of like the royalties from what those comic books are.
What do you think about Hi everyone, my name is Tiff. I lead marketing for Magic Eden. I'm joined here by the one and only Frank from GenesysGo.
Yay!
GenesysGo has a very cool and very coveted collection on Solana called
The Shadowy Supercoder NFT.
Hell yeah. I'm actually a holder. Did you know this?
Thank you for that.
And I'm
I
staking.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Staking site's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silky smooth. So let's just talk about you as a person, and tell us about your journey into NFTs and like where are you from and stuff like that.
Yeah. So my partner and I, we're from Dallas, Texas, and we got into Solana, like kind of as a whole. We got into Solana almost by accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. Neither one of us were involved in blockchain or really even crypto necessarily before this. Aside from just kind of reading random stuff here and there. But we're both hardware nerds. We're both technology nerds, and so my Steven had read like this paper on Solana and like the very unique way that they were achieving a consensus mechanism, or they were building a consensus mechanism. And he showed it to me, and we totally just nerded out over it. And he's like, "Oh man,
when was this?"
This was actually, interestingly enough, so this was back in March of 2021, roughly. Okay. We then proceeded to jump into building the validator. I know. Today actually is the 1 year anniversary of our validator going live.
Happy 1 year anniversary.
Thank you.
Oh, we should tweet about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right.
I know. He messaged
Happy
me while I was on the way over here. He's like, by the way, happy anniversary. Like, it went live today. I was like, no joke.
Dude, did you have a moment?
I did. I totally did. It was like, whoa, it's literally true what they say, right? It's like crypto time somehow goes incredibly fast relative to normal time, and it also forever. Feels like it takes forever.
It's like the Titanic meme of it's been 84 years.
Yes.
So
yes.
Okay, cool. So you did this in March, and then what happened?
Yeah, and then we just started building out infrastructure. We found there's kind of two layers to Solana's infrastructure, right? There's the validators that actually build blocks and they validate transactions, and that's your consensus mechanism. And then there's what's called called an RPC server, which is basically this is kind of the same thing as a validator, except it can speak to things other than validators. So it's basically like that bridge between, let's say, Magic Eden's code and the actual blockchain itself, right? So think of it as like a conduit. So we kind of got into building RPC networks because there was a need, on the part of Solana. And then, over the span of several months, we started powering multiple projects on Solana. But it was when NFTs started to become a thing that we kind of started to see different avenues to kind of bring what we were doing more into the mainstream, if you will, of the Solana ecosystem. And I think we had powered at that point 50 or 60 candy machine drops. This was back in the early days, right? I can still remember when the Degen Apes drop happened, and it was just the whole chain exploded or something like that. And then we finally was let's try to do something ourselves, create an NFT for ourselves that's infrastructure related, that kind of pushes the NFT meta, let's say, a little bit further than here's my animal, I've stuck the name Soul in front of it, and we do a drop. And so it was...
No shade.
Yeah.
Wait, but okay, so for the normies, help them understand Shadowy Supercoder now.
Yeah, so basically what we did was we tied our NFT to to the upcoming, at this point it's already happened, but at the time it would have been the upcoming IDO for our token Shadow. And the Shadow token is tied into all of our infrastructure. Originally it was meant to be tied into RPC network, but since then we've expanded into storage and or decentralized storage and things like that. But yeah, so basically, the SSC NFT, obviously, it gets you access to like our DAO channels and the DAO resources, which we have some just incredibly smart people in that channel. Don't know what they're doing hanging out with us, but it's pretty awesome. But the NFT itself, we were kind of like one of the first to build out a staking mechanic for our NFT and to tie it into our upcoming token. So holders of our NFT, minters of our NFT in the original mint day, like back in November 3rd, they were, kind of coming in as like, we're framing it as like they're mini VCs, right? Because the whole goal of the SSC NFT was to push NFT innovation just a little bit further, and basically allow the ordinary community member to get involved with what we kind of consider one of the most like centralized and closed off pieces of blockchain, which is like the funding cycle of a project's life cycle, right? So the whole thrust of it originally was meant to be, if you mint the NFT, we use that capital as kind of like a seed round. You get access to seed tokens. So rather than us going to VC firms and peddling seed tokens, pitch decks, and all that fun stuff, we instead expanded and kind of opened up for anyone willing to, get in as a quote seed, investor, seed funder, what have you. Which was really cool because, like post NFT mints, there was this really kind of cool rallying cry that happened in like amongst the community of like, yeah, we're like mini VCs now, and for a lot of people that was an awesome learning experience because they kind of got to see what it looks like for an early stage project, if that makes sense. And by early stage,
Hey everyone, we are joined here with Ryan from Block Asset. My name is Tiff. I manage marketing at Magic Eden. We're just going to have a quick chat about Block Asset and a little bit about yourself. Maybe let's start with you. Yeah. Tell us where you're from and how you got into NFTs.
Yeah, so I'm from Liverpool in England, and that's where the majority of the company are based right now, Block Asset. And yeah, NFTs, so it was around about this time last year, around about February of last year.
Okay.
So I've been in the crypto space since 2017. Like a lot of us, I kind of rode the wave of the bull market and just had like a terrible 2-year bear market after it. But me and the guys kept like building. We were trying to like build bots and just generally trading. And then when NFTs come around, it was like February of last year, where like the big boom started occurring. We were looking into the space, and we know quite a lot of athletes. We know quite a lot of Premier League footballers and boxers and MMA fighters. So we realised like there's a potential project here where we could, move into the space, provide value for fans and athletes, and like almost be like a launch pad for NFTs at the time. And at the time, we were wondering like, okay, like, is this just a fad? Like, is this gonna like be here today and be gone tomorrow? And what value can you actually offer with an NFT? And like a couple of teams like, I'm not too sure about this. And then the UFC heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, released an NFT collection literally a week after we were talking about it, and we were like, let's watch for Francis Ngannou's NFT collection coming out. It sold like $600,000 which was at the time crazy. We were like, so we just sold 28 photos on the internet for $600K. It was insane. So we're like, okay, there's clearly buyers in the market. There's clearly a proof of concept, and we just started from there. It's actually quite strange because today Francis Ngannou's on the way to Solana, Miami.
Oh.
Coming to do a talk with Raj.
I heard, yeah,
on behalf of us. So
amazing.
It's good. It's kind of like come full circle. We were watching him, and then now we're in Miami with Francis. It's going to be quite cool. So yeah, like that's how it started, and then since then we were kind of just bringing athletes on board, consistently, just signing athletes.
And then you guys did the artwork, right? Because it all follows a specific style, or no?
Yeah. So a friend of ours, Dosbrach, he's like a very, very famous like an MMA sports artist with like a specific like caricature style.
Yep.
And like he's got his own fan base of his own. So when we were doing a drop, so back in November, our first like key main drop, was with Muhammad Ali, Wayne Rooney, Mike
Yeah.
Bisping, like
Amazing.
5 athletes across 5 sports, and we had Dosbrach involved, and it helped a lot because that brought his fan base. So yeah, and since then we've been, just moving, signing a lot more athletes, and then moving in towards a new product which we're currently building out right now. Yeah.
And what's the utility of buying these NFTs?
So there's a lot involved because the athletes that we bring on board are very. We don't really work with guys who are just looking for like a cash grab and things like that. It's like we want to work with guys who can offer utility. So for example, on the previous Legends collection, we've had Mike Bisping offer training sessions. We've had UFC tickets being distributed towards holders. There's been live AMAs within Discord that are closed off and gated to NFT holders only. So there's and the thing is, with the guys who we bring on, they're earning strong royalties from us each month. They love the product. They're kind of blown away by the community. They do a post on Twitter, and everyone on all the Blockasset community are backing everything that they're saying. So they're really starting to see the value in bringing in in creating Web3 communities of their own, and that kind of leads us into what's next from the utility standpoint. So for all upcoming drops moving forward, now that we'll have NFTs with social tokens attached. Now a social token is just like a normal crypto, like SPL token on Solana, but it's also in some form like an athlete stock in a way, where you kind of come and back your athletes. So each NFT has these athlete tokens attached to them, and with these tokens the athletes will be ranked by market cap, and essentially the tokens themselves can be used to redeem specific benefits within that. Such as, so for example, we're releasing a collection that's been minting out today for Hamdat Chimaev and Darren Till, and with those tokens they're going to have an experience store within their Blockasset profile, and within there there'll be training sessions that you can redeem the Hamzat Sports token for. There's signed merchandise, clothing, branded clothing, UFC tickets that they can get front row of, which are completely unattainable to the normal fan.
Training sessions not with the athletes though, right?
Yeah.
With them?
With the athletes.
Oh shit.
So they're completely on board. We've been filled. So Hamzat's seen as probably the next biggest thing within world MMA. He the guy has knocked more people out than he's received punches. So he's knocked 4 out. He's only received 2 strikes to him. That's how good this guy is.
Wow.
And we've been filming with him. So we have a Blockasset media team, and we've been to film with him in Sweden. We followed him over to Vegas, and then now here in Jacksonville, he's actually fighting on Saturday, which we're all going to. And with that media, we've managed to attain 6 million views on YouTube for the series, the Smash Bros series.
Okay.
And so we're bringing in top of the funnel fans, bringing them into Solana, and on these videos they're playing with Phantom, the having games with Pool to bet for block tokens and Muhammad Ali NFTs.
It's amazing.
So it's kind of showing the masses, and we're trying to make NFTs culturally relevant. And not just
pixelated.
Not like a not like a fad. We want fans to see these things do get used, and this is how these athletes use them.
Hi, my name is Tiff. I lead marketing for Magic Eden. I'm joined here by Crass Kitty. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hey, I'm Crass. I am a founding team member and I head a product at Degen Ape Academy. I basically work on documents all day that are guidelines and rules for the products that we're shipping, and give them to our developers and our designers, and make sure that they actually ship on time.
And you were saying how in your role, you receive a lot of questions, or you want people to ask a lot
So
of
people
questions.
look at product as either ideas or strategy. People who don't do product, they're oh, this is where all the ideas come from, or this is where all the strategy comes from. And the reality is it's partially that, but it's more or less other people come up with ideas, and then my job is to just poke holes and ask why and question and theorize, and which really is weird because I'm a solutions driven person. I'm the kind of person who likes to get their hands dirty and fix things, and so product feels like a flexing muscle. Like it feels like a muscle that I have to flex consistently in a good way, right? I'm also a naturally curious person, so it works out. But it's an interesting role. It's really fun. I love it.
Yeah.
But, it both goes with and goes against my nature, if that makes sense. Which just means I'm in the right role because it's challenging me.
Got it. I mean, and I would love, everybody on Solana knows Degen Ape Academy. It's a collection that needs no introduction. But for the normies, give us just like, I don't know, a couple sentences of just, yeah.
So Degen Ape Academy, it's a collection of 10,000 profile picture, aka PFP NFTs. Having one of them grants you access to the Academy, which is a 3D modeled interactive academy on our website. And it's actually not a place of learning.
No, I would not describe it.
It's not a place of learning.
It is not an educational...
It's a degenerate academy. Okay, I want to clarify. We basically provide value to people who have these apes, and by doing we provide value in the way that the community kind of helps each other out and loves each other. But we also provide games and partnerships, merch. Yeah. We recently did. Can I say this?
Yeah, the gangbang.
The gangbang. Yeah, we recently did a gangbang, which is a product I actually worked on and built.
I feel like this is one of your proudest accomplishments.
I'm so proud.
Let's just talk about it. Okay, so yeah.
Long story. So in the beginning of ape time, there was 10,000 apes, and all apes are supposed to be unique, except for some apes were not unique. Some apes were twins, which is because when we did the mint, we fucked up a little bit.
Oops. But it was also a historical mint.
It was a historical mint. It was we're the first people to use NFTs, candy machine. It was a big deal. So
back in when?
Back in August, I want to say August 8th.
Solana Summer.
August
2021.
1.0.
Yep.
So anyways, twins were born. And we realized this when people said, hey, my ape looks like their ape. We were like, crap. So then we did what we're really good at, and we branded it. And so we said, hey, all twins have been in the bathroom of the academy, and they've been looking at each other and looking in the mirror. And these twins want to bang each other. And so we rolled with it. So then I'm like, wait a minute, I have to build a product that allows twins to bang each other. This is a real thing. And what are they going to get for this? And so this has been months of a journey and discovery and figuring out okay, if twins get to bang or breed or whatever, what do they get out of it? So we decided they get eggs because it only makes sense that an ape would lay an egg.
Of course.
Logic.
Yeah.
Flawless
biology.
Biology. So then we had to decide how they would bang. And so one of the biggest product challenges that we had is if you look at something like CryptoKitties, which has breeding, you have to have 2 CryptoKitties for them to breed.
Right.
Well, not everybody owns their twin. So that
some of them have twins.
Some of them have twins, but not everybody owns the twin to their twin.
Right.
Because that would require them to have two apes.
Yeah.
And so multiple times it's 2 people. And how are you going to know that your twin has already entered the bathroom stall? There's no way.
How do you find your twin?
So we realized, we can't do it that way. We can't follow the conventional breeding mechanics of NFTs. We have to do a gangbang. And it's really more of an orgy, but gangbang sounds raunchier, so we went with it. You put your ape in the stall. You enter your ape into the bathroom stall. So let me describe this to you in visual detail. This is what you see. You see a bathroom door in this 3D Academy. You click it. You enter the bathroom door. The bathroom door swings open. You notice there are hundreds of glory holes.
Oh my god!
And then bananas come out of the glory holes. and then if you enter your ape, so you select your ape, you click enter, you pay 0.69 SOL to enter it.
Of course.
You put it in, and then the door slams shut, and then heart emojis and bananas and eggplants come out of the stall. And this is what we built with the gangbang. So they get their eggs, right? And then we realized something else as we're building this, which is okay, twins get to do this first, and twins are guaranteed an egg. But if we only do twins, that's only going to be under 200 eggs. If all it just didn't make sense. It'd be too tiny of a collection. It'd be skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm. And then the eggs are airdropped.
The eggs were actually kind of not airdropped. So this is where it gets complex. So if you had a twin, you guaranteed got an egg. In fact, you guaranteed got an inbred egg, which is a subset.
Each of the twins.
Receives an egg. For some weird reason, all eggs.
That's fine. Biology. That's cool.
Yeah, all apes lay eggs. It's fine. But so then we were like, okay, but all apes need to be able to bang. And
Yes.
so we opened it up for the twins for the first week, and we closed it, and then we said all apes can bang and twins can bang again.
Oh.
And so twins don't get an egg guaranteed the second time, but they could get a chance. And so if all apes are banging, we have 10,000 apes, and we only have 2,500 eggs. How are we going to distribute this? So we do an algorithm that like basically says, did ape enter? Yes. Does ape get egg? Maybe. Like we did a randomizer. And so we actually built like this random algorithm that like decided if apes got eggs based on multiple factors. So first of all, it was random in the yes or no. Second of all, it was random based on their fur color, because the fur color is tied to the color of the egg. And there was like what's the word I'm looking for? It was like ranked, weighted.
Oh, okay.
It was weighted rarity, right? So it's like, for example, acid trip, which is one of the most rare traits. I think there's only 4 acid trip eggs, period. So if you had one of the 10 acid apes and you entered, you were not guaranteed an egg, but you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have a higher chance of getting the acid egg.
If you had an acid, yeah, sort of.